At the beginning of the film, we see a large mining ship in space that was going to collect resources from another planet for Earth. Inside the ship, all the engineers and astronauts were sleeping in their respective sleeping pods. The spaceship was on its course, but before reaching its destination, many meteoroids collided with the spaceship in space. The size of the meteoroids was quite large, causing significant damage to the mining ship. At that moment, escape pods were released from the spaceship, and one of the escape pods showed us Anti. He was asleep due to hibernation drug, but as the spaceship faced danger, its AI woke him up and prepared him for an emergency landing. The AI indicated that his suit's oxygen was full, after which the robotic arms of the AI put a strange suit on him. When he looked outside, he saw many other escape pods like his landing rapidly on another planet, but due to the poor atmosphere there, many pods exploded before landing, and the astronauts and engineers inside were killed. Among all these pods, Anti's pod also crash-landed in a mountainous area. Due to the crash landing, Anti lost consciousness in his pod and regained consciousness. As he recalled memories of his family, the AI urged him to exit the pod. However, due to a malfunction in the pod, all openings were jammed. When Anti checked his emergency equipment, he found that there were no flare guns because he was a junior engineer and his company had given all the flare guns to seniors. He thought quickly and tried to break the window of his pod with a hammer-like object he had, but the broken glass began to damage his suit, causing oxygen to leak out. He went inside and sealed his suit. Just then, his AI informed him that his pod was catching fire, and if he wanted to save himself, he needed to exit quickly. Anti took less than a minute and managed to exit the pod, after which it was destroyed, and suddenly he saw fire burning in the sky. This fire floating in the air was from his devastated spaceship. When it fell onto this planet, a huge explosion was heard, and the shockwave threw Anti several kilometers away. After everything, when Anti regained consciousness, he asked his AI where he was. The AI informed him that he was in an unknown place, on a planet that had not yet been discovered by anyone. When he asked about the other survivors, the AI had no information because they were all far away from him. Just as he was about to sit down, he noticed a light some distance away and began to move towards it. On the way, he saw his ship, which was badly damaged. Ignoring it, he moved forward. He not only ignored the ship, but also the strange claw and horn marks on it, which could pose a threat to him. Upon reaching the light, his joy knew no bounds because there was another survivor who had gone with him, and he was very happy to see him. Now the focus was on this astronaut. Apart from these two, no one else had survived. He worked in the communication center of their ship and was very good at sending signals to Earth. He had set up a system here to send signals to Earth. He explained that it would take a full 8 months to reach Earth from here, and it would take 2 years for any emergency ship to arrive from Earth. They would have to survive here for about 3 years before there would be any hope of returning to Earth. Hearing this, Anti was quite disheartened, as he felt that they would not be able to leave. He encouraged him, saying to keep the flame of hope alive within himself. They would definitely return. When asked how they would survive, he replied that they could live off the bodies of those who had died here for 3 years because there was plenty of food, and in this case, the dead bodies would not spoil. Reluctantly, Anti had to accept all his words. During their conversation, Anti's foot got caught in a wire, and the wire came off the equipment, prompting Anti to turn back to fix it. While he was fixing the wire, he saw a strange large creature attack his companion and take him away, and when Anti looked in between, his companion was nowhere to be found. He was confused about how help could arrive so quickly. He had left, but now Anti had to send a message to Earth. He used his machine as instructed and sent the message to Earth. He also took Dwayne's gun from here, as it would be very useful for him later. Moving forward, Anti was now looking for a place to stay, but he could not see any shelter anywhere. His AI informed him that there was not much oxygen left in his suit. Hearing this, his frustration increased and he began to shout loudly. But just then, he heard a voice on his radio. It was Navmi's voice. His senior, who had survived, was contacting him and telling him that her leg was stuck in her pod and asking for help. But the AI scanned and reported that Navmi's pod was so far away that it would take her 2 days to reach him, and she did not have enough oxygen. Then he told her to come to him, as he had plenty of oxygen so that both of them could survive. Ignoring his word, he set off to save Navmi. Day turned to night, and he grew tired while walking. Suddenly, he heard a terrifying voice coming from behind. When he turned around, he saw nothing. He asked the AI to scan, but the AI could not scan much in the dark and informed him that the company had given juniors an old model of AI that could not scan well in the dark. They did all this to save money. Hearing this, Auntie felt even more disheartened. He felt that there was some creature here, but he dismissed it as his imagination since he had not seen any creature with his own eyes yet. As he moved forward, he saw strange holes in the ground that resembled footprints. Following them, he reached a very large hole and realized that some spider-like creature lived here, which he also informed Navmi about. Scared, he was about to run away from there. Just then, his AI scanned and informed him that many of his members were nearby. He saw that his members were burning and approaching him, and when he tried to contact them via radio, no one responded, leading him to understand that all his companions must have been attacked and devoured by these spider-like aliens, and all the signals were coming from inside their stomach. While he was thinking about all this, he began to hear that terrifying voice around him again, as if some alien creature was approaching him. He turned off the light on his helmet and crouched down, but the creature could still see him. It was near him, and to escape, Auntie attacked it with the flare gun he was holding. When the light illuminated, all the creatures saw him and began to chase him, and he realized that the aliens could see them better in the light. Anyway, he started running to escape from all those aliens and fell down a large hill. The surprising thing was that he survived such a big accident. He was exposed from above as he could not come down, and he could see signals from 4 other people like Auntie inside him. After falling here, Auntie's suit had torn. Oxygen was leaking from his suit, so he sealed it with his express. Just then, he heard a rumor on the radio. It was Dwayne, whom we had seen before. Dwayne told him to help him as he was fighting against this creature. Auntie was shocked to learn that Dwayne was still alive, but he did not have enough strength to climb the hill again to help Dwayne. When Navmi encouraged him, saying she wanted him to help Dwayne to increase their chances of survival, he thought about it and, following Navmi's advice, began to climb the hill. After climbing the hill, he saw Dwayne bravely fighting 2 creatures at once and attacking them with flare guns. As soon as he saw Auntie, he became a little distracted, and a winning creature from behind caught him and killed him. The creatures had also seen him. They were now preparing to kill him and to save him. Navmi activated the AI systems of all the other pods through her AI. The engines of all the pods turned on, distracting all the creatures towards them, giving Auntie a chance to escape. While running, Auntie found himself in a strange place where the water between the mountains was incredibly beautiful. For a moment, Auntie was lost in its beauty. Suddenly, a firefly landed on his helmet. As soon as the firefly landed, its color turned red, and many more fireflies landed on his suit as well. As they settled on his suit, these fireflies began to damage it, making him realize that these fireflies were also dangerous. Therefore, he quickly removed the fireflies from his suit and ran away. While running, he encountered a strange bug. He saw that it was not a worm, but a monster, a large-mouthed monster that began to grab him. Auntie felt very bad. Seeing its inside, he felt nauseous and suffocated. He was about to have a heart attack. Seeing his condition, his AI provided him with assistance, which improved his condition, and this helped him escape from the monster's mouth. Finally, Auntie saved himself. After pulling Auntie out of its mouth, a creature chased him again, prompting Auntie to run forward. A tunnel seemed like a good hiding spot, but it turned out to be a tunnel of the same fireflies he was trying to escape from. These fireflies attacked his suit again. Due to the suit tearing, oxygen was leaking from it. Oxygen was rapidly decreasing. Seeing this, Auntie told Navmi that maybe he could not save her now. With the oxygen he had, he could only return to the ship, and he hoped to find 1 or 2 pods there from which he could extract oxygen and save his life. Hearing this, Navmi said, "Fine, you go to the ship, I will manage something." But Auntie knew she would not survive alone, so he decided to risk his life to save Navmi and ran towards her quickly. As he reached very close to Navmi, his oxygen was almost depleted. Somehow, he dragged himself to her. After entering Navmi's pod, he fell unconscious. Navmi immediately opened her pod door and brought him inside, and upon receiving oxygen, he regained consciousness. He saw that Navmi's leg was stuck, so she could not get out. When he tried to pull her leg out, it hurt a lot. There was nothing around to help them free her leg. When Auntie opened the emergency kit and mixed a few things, he created a lever, and with its help, he successfully managed to pull Navmi's leg out. Due to being stuck so badly, her leg had a slight fracture, but thankfully, her life was saved. They now stepped out of there with their flare guns. As soon as they stepped outside, many creatures surrounded them. They needed to escape from there, but Navmi was in pain. Auntie then gave her a dose of medicine to numb the pain, allowing them to keep running. They had shown their direction towards the ship, and finally, they reached the part of the ship that was in slightly better condition. Here, Navmi tried to open the compartment of the ship, and after a while, she succeeded. Just as they entered the ship, many creatures followed them, and Navmi quickly closed the ship door, which caused a part of one creature's body to get cut off. They struggled to regain control and move forward. They had taken a breath after a long time. Before they could talk, they noticed that one or two creatures had already entered their spaceship and were now after them. To escape, they quickly went into another cabin and shut the door, realizing they had made a big mistake because it was a gas chamber. David started banging on the door, but it wouldn't open. After being trapped here, they had no other option but to talk to each other. Navmi asked, "Why are you always so hopeless? Why do you talk about dying all the time?" To which Auntie replied, "Dying seems better." Navmi said, "I know there must be a big reason behind this. Is it your family?" Hearing this, he showed her a video of his family. It was a happy family. His wife and son loved him very much. But one day they had an accident. Both of them died in it, and Auntie survived. Auntie told her, "It was all my fault. I should have died, not them." Hearing this, Navmi said, "Whatever happens, happens for the best." They hugged each other, feeling that these might be the last moments of their lives. But just then, Navmi noticed that the fireflies that had previously attacked Auntie's suit were back. They picked up the fireflies and threw them at the door, causing the fireflies to attack the alien standing behind the door, trying to break it down. Now that the door was open, they had to escape from here. They ran towards the escape pod. It was also a trap for another creature. How would they free themselves from this? Navmi suddenly had an idea. She said, "We will take it under the escape pod and kill it." But it took 15 minutes for the emergency escape pod to release. So they made a plan, and Auntie decided to reach the escape pod first, which was located in the lower part of the spaceship, and it took a lot of time to get there. But whenever they saw that the creature was behind them, they jumped without directly landing, causing the creature to get stuck in the spaceship. Auntie sat in its pod and tried to turn it on, while Navmi attracted the creature like a trap, leading it to the escape pod, where Auntie was sitting to release it. As the creature came just under the escape pod, it released, and finally they saved themselves. Due to the escape pod fall, there was a massive shock above. They realized that it did not have enough energy to release. To give it energy, Auntie used all the energy from his suit, resulting in his death. He made this sacrifice to save Navmi. Navmi understood this. Seeing him dead, she broke down in tears, but in the next second, he opened his eyes, revealing that he was not dead. He had only fainted. Seeing him alive brought life back to Navmi's face. They were so emotional at that moment that they could not say anything to each other. Suddenly, light shone on their faces, and they saw that morning had come. They approached the window of their spaceship and began to admire the beauty of this strange and dangerous planet. Whatever it was, both of them agreed that this planet was very beautiful, and now they would have to stay on such a planet for the next 3 years, because only after 3 years would a ship come to rescue them. For 3 years, they would support each other and wait. Here, Navmi held Auntie's hand, and the movie ended showing